Have you ever been in a room full of people, but your body was there and your mind was somewhere else? Someone calls your name. You answer a second late. They think you weren't listening. But the truth is, you were listening, just not here. Psychology says this isn't distraction. This isn't laziness. And this definitely isn't low intelligence. This is something much deeper. Something most people don't even realize they're doing. There's a certain type of person who is always mentally elsewhere. They stare out windows. They drift during conversations. They replay moments that already ended. They imagine futures that may never happen. People say they overthink, that they're not present, that they live in their head too much. But psychology reveals something most people never consider. These people aren't escaping reality. They're protecting themselves from it. Most of them don't even know it. People who are mentally somewhere else are not weak-minded. In fact, they're often highly sensitive, emotionally aware, and deeply intelligent. Their brain doesn't just process what is happening. It processes what could happen, what already happened, and what should have happened. Their mind never fully rests, and this habit usually doesn't start in adulthood. It starts early, not as daydreaming, but as emotional survival. When someone grows up feeling misunderstood, emotionally unsafe, unheard, or constantly criticized, their brain learns something important. Reality doesn't feel safe, but the mind does. So the mind creates distance. At first it's temporary. Later it becomes automatic. Eventually, it becomes a personality trait. That's why many people say they don't remember when it started. Because it didn't start as a choice. It started as protection. A mind that learned to escape once will escape again. These people constantly replay conversations, imagine outcomes, and prepare for disappointment before it happens. Their brain believes staying ahead of pain is safer than facing it directly. So they live slightly ahead of reality, or slightly behind it, rarely fully inside the moment. From the outside, they seem calm, quiet, detached, but internally, their mind is loud. They feel things deeply, so deeply that being fully present can feel overwhelming. When emotions get too intense, the brain pulls attention inward, not to disconnect, but to regulate. So when they zone out during conversations, meetings, or even happy moments, it isn't disrespect. It's emotional self-control. The sad part is most people never ask where their mind goes. They assume boredom. They assume disinterest. But psychology says the opposite. These people care too much, think too deeply, feel too intensely. Sometimes being present feels heavier than leaving. And sometimes the mind doesn't just wander. Sometimes it disconnects. When emotions stay overwhelming for too long, the brain uses its emergency system, dissociation. Not dramatic, not obvious, quiet. Life starts to feel distant, like watching yourself live, like moments are happening behind glass. The body is present, but the mind is elsewhere. This often happens to people who had to grow up fast, who were expected to be strong, who didn't feel safe expressing weakness. They didn't break. They adapted. Instead of collapsing emotionally, their mind learned to step away. That's why so many high-functioning adults feel internally disconnected. They were never allowed to fall apart. So their mind learned to disappear instead. This disconnection doesn't look extreme. It looks like forgetting conversations, feeling tired without reason, losing interest in things you once loved, feeling emotionally flat during moments that should feel big. Time starts moving strangely. Days blur together. Weeks disappear. Life moves forward, but it doesn't feel lived. And that creates a terrifying question. Where did my life go? The hardest part is the internal conflict. They crave connection, depth, meaning. But the moment emotions intensify, their mind pulls away. They want to feel deeply, yet feel numb. And the more they force themselves to be present, the more their mind resists. because presence doesn't feel safe yet. And here's the truth most people never hear. Telling someone like this to just be present makes it worse. Presence isn't a switch. For a mind that learned to leave to survive, the present moment once felt dangerous. Healing doesn't start with force, it starts with safety. And here's where everything changes. Because these minds aren't broken. They carry something rare. The same reason their mind learned to step back is the reason they see the world more deeply than most people. These people are intuitive, emotionally intelligent, highly creative, deep thinkers. Their mind doesn't just react to life, it studies it. That's why shallow conversations exhaust them, why noise feels overwhelming, why they crave meaning over attention. Many of them feel like they started living late. That's because early life was about survival. Later life becomes about integration. When safety increases, the mind slowly returns. Not suddenly, not forcefully, gently. Presence grows where fear leaves. You don't heal by dragging your mind back. You invite it back. Through calm routines, through environments where you don't have to perform, through relationships where silence is allowed. And here's something freeing. You don't need to be fully present all the time. Some minds move in waves. They go inward to understand. They come outward to live. That rhythm is natural. The goal isn't to stop leaving. The goal is to return without shame. The real shift happens when you stop asking what's wrong with you and start asking what your mind is protecting you from. That question creates compassion, and when the mind feels understood, it stops running. Once grounded, these minds become powerful. They understand people beyond words. They feel meaning where others feel boredom. They create instead of consume. They connect deeply, not widely. They don't live louder lives. They live truer ones. So if your mind keeps drifting, if you've spent years feeling half present, if life sometimes feels like a movie you're watching, know this: your mind didn't abandon you. It carried you through moments you weren't ready to face yet. And now, you're strong enough to come back.